What's that?
All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone, the Pryor Creek Rec Center Board Special Meeting, Thursday, December 14th, 2023. It's 5:30 p.m. Item 1, call to order. Item 2, approved minutes of the November 6, 2023 special meeting. Those are minutes were provided to you by our formal minute writer, Mr. Olson. I'll entertain a motion to approve. There's no questions.
Second.
Need a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kemp, second by Knopfsinger. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item number 3, discuss possible fundraising event in 2024 for Sportsman's Rifle.
I just have one set of just basically the organizational documents. I didn't want to make half a dozen sets because I'm killing enough trees as it is. But anyway, I guess I'm really just kind of looking for the blessing. It's called Sportsman's Rifle. Something we did at the college I was at. We did it for about 10, 12 years. Made $25,000 to $35,000 a year on the thing, depending on. And it's simply we raffled off some guns, hunting rifles and shotguns and that kind of thing, threw in a few pistols. Then we had some side raffles, some different packages like camping or fishing, Minnesota Twins tickets, whatever we could get. And so those kind of were off to the side during the night. And we tried to make it an event. So those tickets were $100, and you got your name in the hopper for the main raffle for one of the guns, and we sold 500 tickets, 50 guns, so we kept a 10-to-1 ratio, which was pretty good, I think. Worked out. We provided a kind of a roast beef dinner, kind of a buffet-style meal. We had a cash bar, and then we had a stage, and we bought the vendor came with their representatives, and they had the guns laid out. You didn't leave with your gun that night. They got that later. They got to where they went to the store and picked that up if you were a winner. We had a local personality be the MC, and we had music. We had a stage. We had the local four-wheeler dealer donated a four-wheeler, and we sold tickets on that, $20 tickets. We tried to sell about 500 of those as well. We did meat raffles. We did raffles for cash. So they want to put cash in their hands, so they buy more tickets on the side stuff, that kind of thing. Those documents are kind of like an outline, basically, of what we did leading up to breakdown of all the things that go with it. It was about once the raffle started, the big event started, about a 2-hour deal. I mean, we really tried to get in and out and just keep it moving so people weren't sitting. The nice thing about it was those dollars we were raising for scholarships, and people were buying tickets to the event that we would never get a Booster Club membership from. But boy, they'll pay to win the chance at a gun, in the hunting part of the country there. But anyway, would like to do something like that. Certainly open to variations. Jeremy Cantrell and I got in a conversation about it one day, and he had some interest in maybe joining forces with us and maybe making it a bigger deal. I think, that's, working together, and it's a good promotional kind of a thing for interdepartmental and that sort of thing. We could probably do more than 50 guns and sell more tickets, but keep the proportion the same. Because that's the key, is selling the tickets. If you get the tickets sold, you're making money. And so that would be the real thing. And we would start it this summer. We would get organized and probably start selling tickets June 1st. And then I was looking into the fall. We did it on a Saturday evening. I'd like to do it on a weekend when OU and OSU are out of town, if possible. So I've kind of been looking at, saw the SEC schedule came out yesterday. But
All right, we'll be in last place.
yeah, nobody will be paying attention. So anyway, that's kind of the quick synopsis of it.
So from the mayor's perspective, can we do something like this?
I did check with Chase. Yeah, I'm sorry. I needed to add that. I did did check with Chase. He
Okay.
said he didn't see any problem with that. We just, either create an account or later on the agenda, have talking about a foundation here. We could put money in the foundation for whatever we deem, those bylaws come out to be. But anyway, we can do it, it looks like, from all. And I asked Jeremy too about the gun. He said, well, everybody's just got to go through the regular background check, and all that kind of thing. So we bought our guns from Shields. They're building a new store in Fargo or in Tulsa. And their home base is Fargo. So they did a nice job. They gave them to us at a reasonable rate. But when I was talking to another gentleman about it, I know we have maybe a gun shop or two here in town that might be interested in doing something, or at least we could approach and, get a deal, because that's going to be your biggest expense. And when we were doing this, those guns were around 20 grand, for 50 guns, give or take. I mean, most of the guns are cost us around 350, something like that, But, I've been gone a few years, so I'm sure they're gone up a little bit. But
It's not the gun, it's the ammunition.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly, yeah. So anyway, that's it was a fun event, and lots of engagement. It was and instead of doing a handful of events where we might make 1,500 or 2,000, I think if we just rallied and put all of our effort into this one deal and and make it worth our while. It's kind of my thought.
So I might have missed it, but the money goes right into our general fund
Yeah, I
to
guess
pay
we'd
for
have
things?
to, I don't know exactly, Rebecca, yet, but it would go to us,
Okay.
And if we did it with the police department, of course, we'd split it, that kind of thing, but,
I would say we'd probably get more traction if we did it together.
well, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and again, the key is selling tickets. And, if we can get a force, a group that can sell tickets, and we bundled them in 5, and, I mean, you have to keep track. We had to do it under the gaming license of the college. I don't know that we have to do anything like that here. So that makes it a little simpler. The accounting's a little less cumbersome, but we still, we want to keep track and make sure we got tickets and the money matches up, so we're not giving tickets away. But I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a lot of that going on already around. I think I've heard something, maybe it's Houston, we talked a little bit about some places are raffling off one gun, and that kind of thing. But this would kind of be an event. And we could do it at the rec center. We did it at the Armory, but, and they had tables and chairs already there, so that made it kind of nice. We'd have to round all that up. But if there's another place in town that's
I'd
doable,
say probably the event center or something.
Yeah, I don't know what they would charge, or if they'd give us a break on it, but yeah, I think, if they had all the stuff, that'd be nice. Just 'cause
They
it's-
have the tables, chairs, everything.
Yeah, yeah, stage.
The event center across the street here?
Yeah, no, at
Maze-
Fairgrounds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, give it a shot and see what happens if y'all feel like it's.
Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need to take any action on that. No. Okay, item number 4, discuss possible sponsorship program
Okay.
for 2024.
All right, I did kind of print two of the, just, again, it's just kind of organizations here. So, in short, it's a corporate advertising program. We actually got it from Daktronics, the scoreboard company. It was a template program that they have. We bought some scoreboards and stuff, and this is how we paid for it. There's a top level, an anchor partner, 4 founding partners, and 16 premier partners is what their template was. And it was, I think, 20,000, 16,000, 8,000. And in the small town we were in, the college, we were nickel and diamond businesses, and we decided to quit that and do kind of one big thing. And so, you got that, all the activities that the college, all the sports teams did, if they were in this program, they got promoted at that event. Golf tournaments, 3-on-3 basketball, camps, whatever we were doing, Hall of Fame banquets, all those kinds of things, and in our programs and so forth. So we would do something similar, I think. I don't know if our levels would be quite that high, honestly. I want to kind of peruse because I would start with our vendors, who we're buying, who we're spending our money. That's where I would go to begin with, you know, and kind of press them a little bit to give us something back. So, but, you know, banks, insurance companies, you know, those kind of things.
Accounting services.
Yeah, dental offices.
So would this be like on our sign out front?
Well, that could be something we could do, or we may need to do something a little, you know, something stationary, you know, that displays them. I mean, depending on how many we do, because that's 21 sponsors in that program, to get all them on a reel on the marquee. But we could make that part of the anchor. If you're the anchor partner, you're paying the most, we'll give you the headline, you know, that kind of thing.
We have that wonderful sign out
Yeah.
front.
Yeah, we got lots of wall space inside the rec center. And also, I think it has some potential. I don't know, you know, I'm not sure, again, what else is going on in town. There's no colleges around, you know, but the high school, I see, you know, they have a number of sponsors. You know, I was been in the gym there, in the Burdick Center, and have seen some of those industrial park, you know, companies that have given money to have their name on that. And so, you know, those would probably be on our list as well. So, and, you know, I guess I would, you know, ask for your all's assistance too. If you know, just point me in the right direction and give me the name of the person, and I'll go see him, you know. Yeah. He's not saying much, I noticed.
You want me to point him in the right
There's, there's like somebody running
can I
for
talk to?
senator or
Your bank.
something, probably
Hey,
needs a
this
billboard.
senator's trying to get money, not
Right.
give money.
Right.
I think the
So,
baseball fields do
Yeah.
that, and maybe the softball fields, and
Yes.
that's what, you know, if you look in there, the pictures, because we took pictures, and that's what we had. We had them all on our outfield fences, and the anchor and the premier got on the scoreboard, you know, that kind of thing. So we would find the kind of the prime locations within our facility to display, and we'd put them on our rec radio, I think, you know, add them on that. So it's, you know, a matter of working out some of that. But before I did the whole thing, I just want to make sure get the blessing to do it. And that'd be kind of next year's goal, is to implement that after the first of the year. And see, because as you all know, we need to create some revenue, so.
I like how you're thinking out of the box, looking for new avenues. Good job.
All right, before we move to item number 5, I'm going to exit the building and turn it over to Mr. Riff, because I have to go to
Okay,
Claremore
sure. Yep.
to another meeting. So, since we're not taking action on anything, so.
Yeah, no,
Mr. Riff?
Okay, item 5, discuss possible
See you.
creation
Okay,
of
see you.
foundation
Thanks.
to be used for youth scholarships or passes in specific operations projects.
so I would like to create a foundation. It's kind of modeled after the Y, basically. You know, there, we had a pretty decent endowment, and then we had a formula, and so there we had actually youth memberships. Here, you know, we have add-ons. That's how we add children onto already, for the most part, onto existing, you know, parents or guardians, that kind of thing. But it would function the same. And so, we could create an endowment and basically live off the interest. It would take, you know, I was thinking about timelines and that kind of thing, and I guess, you know, assuming we, you know, got the blessing to do that, you know, we'd probably spend this first year, again, raising some money to, you know, to build the thing, and then maybe in 25, start to dish those out. And we used you know, we used a county formula of income levels and numbers in the household, and we had people bring in their documents, their income, you know, pay stubs and that kind of thing to verify income, so we knew for sure what class they would be in, because we weren't just going to give them out for anything, but we were more than happy to give them out if people qualified. And so there would be a qualification system for that. You know, just in passing in the last few months, I've talked to a couple different ones and said, hey, what would you think about that kind of thing? And I've got a couple people who said, hey, I'd give some money to a deal like that, help youth. And so I think that's something that we could do. It's basically operational dollars. It's membership dollars, right, which goes into our operating, is kind of my thinking on that. So You know, we have a number of homeless youth in town. We have, I think, low 60% of our kids qualify for free and reduced lunch in town, in the district. So I think there's a market for it. So I just, again, just kind of trying to figure out a way to engage and promote and provide, you know, service to some that maybe wouldn't otherwise get it, so.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Now I did talk to Julie Nefsker about setting up, because I talked to Chase. When I called Chase, I visited with him about it. And he said, yeah, you know, in terms of ordinances and laws and that kind of thing, you're fine. And it would be separate from our budget, and we would have to set up a board, and it would be run by that board, you know, and the bylaws would be set up for whatever the mission is, and, you know, pretty much that's it right there. So at first I was thinking, well, maybe the board, our board, could designate each year a project to use some of the dollars, but I got to thinking later, you know, if I can get the sponsorship program rolling, we can just keep that clean and just for youth, you know, benefit, membership type scenario. So, I know I've got on there specifics, you know, operation projects, but I think I'd just probably scratch that and just stick with the supporting youth and you know, when I put passes on there, that's, you know, like day passes or passes for whichever aspect of the rec they want to use, you know, the gym or the pool or what have you, so.
So when we're talking about youth, what defines youth? Because I know we've got guidelines as to what age students could use the facility.
Right. Well, we'd still probably operate under those guidelines, and we're actually kind of taking a look at that because we've got so much, and we'd like to tighten that up a little bit, I think, and, you know, we have some spillover, we have some younger kids that are in the weight room sometimes, and sometimes the adults aren't supervising them the way they should, so that's kind of a constant challenge. But I think we would probably adhere basically to the guidelines we have, Stephen. So if a kid, you know, wanted to swim, but they needed to have their parent there, they'd be required to have their parent there, but we would charge the child under the child rate or the add-on rate, but the parent would just be there, you know, in the building as a supervisor. So we're a little unique, you know, we're in this software changeover, so some things have kind of come up, and we're a little unique in the way we do our memberships. Usually you have a youth membership, at least the associations that I'm familiar with, and we don't. We have an add-on, which is just that. We added on to an adult that has a membership. So
So does a youth have to get an adult membership if it's just them?
no, you can still just get, but you have to, if you're going to use the facility, you have
Right.
to follow the guidelines.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever the person that is, like you said, the supervisor, whenever the adult goes with them,
Yeah, they would have.
they don't get charged whenever they come in with the child, correct?
You know, I don't think so. Honestly, I would probably have to check.
I was just
You know,
wondering.
Katie, yeah, I wish Katie was here because she could probably answer that, but no, I don't think so. But they have to be present.
Right,
You know?
right.
And it does make policing it a little more difficult. I mean, and
I
we
would
could,
think so too,
you know.
because then you're kind of saying, well, so is this, quote, parent, are they using the facility?
Right.
You didn't charge them, but now
Yeah,
they working out with them?
right,
Right.
Here, let me show you how to use that. Jump up, son, and I'll get on.
Yeah.
yeah. And maybe that's something we definitely have to look at, I think, just to make sure that, because those scenarios are a challenge sometimes. We have trouble in the pool, you know, and I've been talking to our weekend guys when it happens, you know, a little bit once in a while. We get a youngster comes in, you know, and if you're 5 or younger, you're supposed to be within an arm's length of your supervisor, or your person, your parent or guardian, what have you. And that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. And so, you know, and we're trying to impress upon that to keep those rules. But we have a lot of age type rules, and we talked a little bit about maybe raising it up a little bit, like in that weight room area, and just kind of, you know, capping it off, because the younger kids, there's just more horseplay, and not all the time, they're not all like that, but there is, when there's a problem, that's usually the age group that we're having, so.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so,
So we just wanted a discussion, we weren't gonna,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah, I
we're
think.
taking action on it.
Yeah, I think just wanted, basically looking for the blessing to move ahead and, put a program together, I guess, to bring back to, and I don't know if that's something that the council has to approve, maybe, or maybe not, we can find that out, but I'd want to bring something a little more formal, on what do we need for a board? We'll have to have some bylaws, we'll have to have a donation policy, and then there'll have to be something about, utilizing the interest, how, if it's gonna be 4 or 5% every year, those kinds of things, we'll have to have all that kind of documentation put together, so, but if it's something that y'all are in favor of entertaining, then that's what I would do.
Well, and also the cost of setting all of that up.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't ask Julie about that, but there'll be some cost, but there's nothing too cute about it, and I've got the guy that ran the foundation where I came from, I reached out to him, of course, this is their busy time, year end, and so after the holidays, I'm gonna get hooked up with him, and I've got some questions for him in terms of setting it up. I've been around and seen them function and been involved, but I've never set one up.
Right.
So I need to find out more about that. But,
Okay.
So, anyway,
okay, I guess item number 6,
Okay.
director's report.
okay, you've got some financial information there. What do I do with my sheet here? So, oh, here it is. So kind of the long and the short this month, the unofficial tally, on the second sheet, the first sheet, of course, is our monthly expenses. Couple of things of note, this month to last month, I was looking, for kind of some of the glaring things. Last month, we paid $9,400 for a half a year on our current software package, out of the tech fund. This month, we spent $2,500 more on repair and maintenance. Our lifeguard salaries were up a little bit, about $500 over last month. Our total expenses were $94,000, they were down $8,000 over last month. But we were $4,177 short in terms of cash flow unofficially. We had $5,800 less in sales tax than last month, so that's pretty much your difference there in that respect. But as far as expenditures go, there wasn't anything that spiked really. So we're pretty much on par. Overall, we're 7%. We're 34% through the year, and we spend about 27% of our budget. So we're not in too bad a shape that way. But boosting the cash flow is kind of is the key. If you look at your official sheet, or this one, you look at this is kind of the official from this course. And what I just said was through November. This is the final through October, all right? So on the first page, at the top, you can see the cash we have and then our investments. And then the long and the short of that is, year to date, we're $23,500 to the good.
Oh.
So, but if you look on the back page, which the bottom, the page 57, it says on the lower right, we were $5,200 short last month, which is almost $2,000 better than my unofficial, so that's a good thing. But at least it's given us a ballpark, and that's what we want. So, but we're still ahead, because I think we were 50,000 to the good the very first month of the year. So, let's see. I went down the list.
What would have caused that?
What's that? Which?
Why would we be 50,000 to to the good in the first month?
I'm not entirely sure. Unless we carried something over is what I'm thinking, because I know we didn't.
One-time occurrence?
Yeah, because I know we didn't, we didn't have a big spike in income or anything,
Right.
But, so, as long as I can figure out is we carried over, I'm still, there's a few things that kind of raise an eyebrow. Zach can attest to that and what he's dealing with. We're trying to just learn these and get some of these up to speed. We've found some other departments, there's some monies that were there that we didn't know were there and that kind of thing. So, I'm reading what I'm getting and reporting what I'm getting, and then trying to ask some questions as we go on what happened. But I believe it was 51,000 after the first month. I have that in my other folder. I didn't bring my folder of financials reports, but,
So is the first month July?
yes.
Yes.
Because the other sheet's showing a net loss of $9,300
Yeah,
in July.
right, yeah. So I don't know, yeah. 108,000 in expenditures, which was a little higher than the rest of the months. I'm just trying to look through there. That's been our biggest, that's been our biggest membership month so far. Guest passes were up about, that's where, guest passes are up a couple $1,000s, almost 3,000 over any other month. And sales tax was a little higher too, right at 59,800 on the income side. But our expenses were still 108. Look at that real quick here and see if we can find anything that's. Our repair and maintenance budget, we spent about 27,000 in July. It's a little higher. Everything else is pretty much the same. Fitness, repair, maintenance. So yeah, I've spent some time with Courtney trying to, when I get stuff and try to ask questions, but that's one I haven't asked on why it spiked like that, but I know that we didn't finish the month by 50 grand up.
Yeah.
So there must have been a carryover.
On our year-to-date actual, have we started paying for the heating and air stuff yet?
No.
We still
No,
have.
I was gonna mention that tonight in my director's report. So we'll probably pay those deposits this month.
That'd be this month.
I'm waiting on
Okay.
he sent me the invoices, but there was no, and I know what the deposits are, but it didn't indicate that on there.
Mhm.
And I know the ladies needs to show what that is. So I spoke to him on Monday, and I'm waiting to get that so I can get those submitted so we can keep those prices secured so they don't go up.
Right.
So, and that totals 75,000, and that's on this one sheet. I don't know, is there any more questions on this at this moment? I can take you, we can go ahead and finish it, I guess. The membership count, we were up about 4% over last month, just over 2,026. And then you can see the Cherokee Nation tally, at 329 Cherokee Nation in total, and what the income was off of that from the fund, 3,492. So then the running, we've spent 17.5 out of that. Or spending is probably not the right term. That's the income we've had off of that from the money they gave us, the 17.5. So, any questions on any of that? This sheet, like this, it's got just two sheets. It's got repair maintenance. So this is kind of just a snapshot of kind of some things that they're in the hopper and we approved, but we really didn't move on because when the HVAC thing kind of hit the fan, we decided to put the brakes on. So you can see at the top, it's the HVAC stuff. And so we need to get that in order. The middle section is some things that we'd approved, but we haven't actually spent the money or have had the contractor do anything with. Excuse me. We put the brakes on the front desk move. I had 60,000 in the budget this year for cardio equipment. So at some point here soon, I'll probably just come back and I'll kind of look at what we're gonna replace, and maybe we do 2 or 3 pieces instead of doing, I think, 7 is what we had.
Like treadmills and stuff.
Yeah, some treadmills and steppers and elliptical, I believe is what we had on that list. And then I put in, I'm estimating that outside of the HVAC, roughly 40,000 to finish out the year on just, small repair and maintenance items. Well, last year, excuse me, last year we spent about 46,000. So we've already spent, X amount this year. And 40 might be high, but I doubt it, because by the time they come and do their maintenance on our HVAC stuff, it's filters, a belt, maybe a motor or something, valve. I just signed off on some maintenance the other day. It was like $1,900, and it was just that stuff. It was belts and valves and different things. So then the bottom stuff is kind of, again, down the road. You can say I put in there fiscal year 25 on a couple things along the way. And then I put 50 in for an HVAC unit for next year, if we decide we want to do that. So as you can see, it's $400,000. So that's if we did all, you can subtract out some cardio costs and things like that. I do think the locker room flooring, it needs some attention. I don't know, those of you that have been in there, I haven't been in the women's quite as much, but I know it's, and I had a guy in last week, and, it's gonna be, his estimate was probably 14,000 to do both locker rooms. And that also included, in the men's, again, I don't know in the women's, but in the men's, in the shower area, it's like this, the floor, and the water pools. Well, they would come in and they would grind that and get it all sloping properly, because it's a headache for maintenance. Plus, we have a fan in there, and I don't think that's a good thing. They got that electricity by the water, usually not a good combination. So if we could get it where it's draining, and it'd just be easier to maintain, and it would run, and we wouldn't have to do that.
Is the floor, is it like a linoleum or a laminate type thing?
No, it's it looks to, it's almost like a heavy sandpaper, but I think it's kind of a poured thing with some grit in it. Because if you look on the thresholds of the shower, you can see that when it was done, and I don't think this is original.
Right.
There's a hump, and then on each end of the hump, you can see it's not very smooth. It wasn't very finished very well, I don't think.
Would tile be better?
Pardon me?
Do you think tile would be
Well,
better?
it could in some cases, but I think they had tile, if I'm not mistaken, and it was too slippery.
Ah.
Now, what this guy was proposing is it's not epoxy, but it's kind of like epoxy with some flakes in it. He sent me some pictures, and actually I have them on my phone. And it looked really nice. It had some, it was kind of a gray with black and blue flakes in it, and it'd be the whole thing. But from what he's saying, the problem is he said it'd take a week to prep it and a week to put it. And so I don't know what in the world we would do, with the people that needed to use the shower and stuff. We'd only have, if we did one side at a time, still you'd only have one bathroom with a shower in it. That'd be I just don't know how we would do that.
I think they're not gonna be able to take showers for a week.
Yeah, that's not good. So, I don't know, I don't know. I just got the stuff back a couple days ago and I haven't talked to the guy. But anyway, I think that floor in the lockers and the men's anyway are just rusting out like crazy, So that's coming too. So but I think fundamentally, we gotta get the HVAC under control, but the locker room, I mean, that's kind of an amenity that we need to, locker rooms, bathrooms, keep those clean and, looking nice, particularly on the women's side, we're trying to beef up the maintenance on that. So we've got one of our gals coming in the middle of the day and spending an hour, so we've got night crew, morning crew, midday. So just lots of traffic, which is good, but we gotta keep it up.
Well, I don't think the floors in the women's is like torn up. It
Yeah.
just looks really
Well,
old.
and that's the thing, it's not torn up in the men's either, but of course, around the urinal, it's in tough shape, And this would also, he was telling, this would have an application, and he sent it to me, I've never heard of it, but that resists urine. He said, you won't have this staining on that.
We don't have those issues
You
in
don't
the
have those
ladies.
issues over on your side, yeah, I know. So, but we'll, I wanna get another estimate or two on that and see where that takes us. But, so, okay. The second page of this sheet is a crude drawing, of, an alternative to moving the desk. Moving the desk was gonna be probably an $8,500 to $10,000 deal. And so what we could do is we could build a couple of walls and create kind of a chute, and then have, you can see the gates on where the exit, where I have exit written, and I apologize for this drawing, but there would be a gate there on each side for exit only. And so everybody would have to come right up the middle, the scanner's sitting right there, you scan your card and you go. Because in the new system, everybody's gonna need to have their card. You won't be able to, hey, check me in. We don't want that, because we've got other things we're doing with those people. And that might be a rub on some, but, we just need, and we won't have to, now if you scan your card, we still have to check you in. We don't want that. That's just, we don't need that. And so anyway, this would give us better control, even without moving the desk and doing all the whole gate business across the side there. We did this at the Y, we had the same issues at the Y, people would just kind of skirt in more, and we had a big open lobby, and this solved it, and this would be a fraction, it would be a 4-foot high wall, just create a chute, and then just be 2 L's basically. And it wouldn't be all the way to the front door, maybe 10 feet or so. And then you just walk in the chute, you scan your card, and you go to the weight room, or go to the pool, or whatever you need to do, So anyway, and I have no pricing yet on that, I gotta find a carpenter. So if you know of a carpenter, to get some pricing on that, but that won't cost $8,000. So, but I think it'll serve the purpose that we're looking for. Okay. I believe that's it on the finances, unless anybody's got questions. Aquatics, we hosted 14 pool parties last month. Swimming lessons are done. We did GRDA, hosted them some training 2 times. They were in today, too. We've been doing the after-school stuff with swim team and Special Tigers and all. We still got some Special Olympics groups that are swimming. A couple kids there. A kid last week started powerlifting. Special Olympics guy coming in on Friday nights. So we're doing that. Then, the maintain, don't gain on the fitness side of things.
How many did you have in it?
There's 68 participants in that now. And as of the date of this, Jess had collected 125 cans of food that will be delivered to North Star. Jimmy the Elf is back, the elf on the shelf, so that's underway. There's some people are really into that. And then our land classes were up slightly last month, but our water classes were down slightly. On the fitness side, we had a float in the parade. Christina Satina was kind of the spirit. She does our water aerobics, our Zumba. And, you know, she just came in and said, hey, you know, I'd like to do this. Can we do this kind of thing? And go for it. So she did a nice job. You know, we had a young lady did the Halloween party and carnival, and now we have this. So it's kind of nice. And then she did the dance. She led them on the dance. They practiced a couple nights and, you know, did their thing. I wasn't able to be there. I don't know, you may or may not know, but I went to see my son. I don't get to see him very often, so that's where I was. Otherwise, I would have been there. He lives in Texas. We had 96 new members last month, and then 29 new Cherokee memberships. You know, we've still got 3 volleyball groups playing a few nights a week. And then we submitted a grant for LED lighting in the building. And the same group, Jeremy Cantrell's been using the gal Danielle Sotolo. I don't know if y'all might know her. I think she's out of Claremore. But anyway, she's a grant writer, a lot of experience. And we kind of got in because she was doing something like that already. And so it did cost us $1,500, but we will know in early January. That's $75,000 project,
Oh, wow.
something like that probably, which will help our utility bill.
So I'll add in there, everything that Danielle has done, every grant that she's gone after, we've gotten the full amount that we've sought.
Wow.
And so when we looked at that, we noticed that the contract did not say between Pryor PD, it said the city of Pryor. So I also used her, well, we're gonna be using her for another grant for the Graham Community Building that's pays out about $500,000, and she's ecstatic to be able to help Pryor do these grants, so.
She and her partner, I think they've written $240 million worth of grants over the last
Awesome.
8 or 10 years, something like that. So it really easy to work with. Sent her partner over, we walked through the building, she was taking inventory of everything we have, and so they got it submitted, it was submitted on Tuesday. She said we'd know first week in January, or January 8th or something, so.
Wow.
So that'd be nice. So we'll
And
see.
it was 75,000?
Yeah, it's about 75, I think 74 something is what the,
74 and some change.
that, yeah.
Tell you what's good on those things too, we did that at the bank, but it saves your maintenance folks, cause those LED lights will just last forever.
Yeah.
Before you'd catch yourself changing these fluorescent bulbs all the time.
Right, and the ballast along with it. And
Yeah.
We've done a fair amount of that as well, so, yeah. So, yeah, hopefully that'll go through. We did that at the Y and it worked like a charm. It brightened it. It's a clean light, as you know, and it's just, it's nice, so
Wow.
that'll be good. Okay. I think that's it. And then you've got your rate sheets, right? You want to take that stuff with you and kind of ponder that. So that's, I think, you know what, that's the last thing. So the one set, the 2-pager, the regular sheet's got our current rates, and then it's got the history on the backside with the yellow. So you can kind of see, you know, it's 2009, I think, is when there was a slight, is that right? Yeah. It's a slight increase. I was thinking it was 06, but it was 2009. Yeah, because in 06, full service was 37, then it went to 38.85, went up $1.85. So, yeah. So anyway, so that kind of sets the foundation of it. And then, like I say, there's Claremore on here, and Muskogee. Muskogee's a little different, but I just went ahead and looked at theirs. Then on the long sheet, it's dated 12/4, that has more of the comparisons. And so, you know, I had the words out that we're looking at raising the rates, and I had a couple of the seniors corner me and go, hey, you're not gonna raise our rates too much, you know, we're on fixed income and stuff like that. And I said, no, I don't think it on the senior side. And so that's why I, you know, put that on there, just so we know. But I think we can, you know, our regular rates, you know, I think 9% is good, and then maybe we, you know, I was looking over here on the 6% side, and then, you know, some of it, that'd be 75, 76 cents, you know, maybe we raise that $1, you know, and so, I don't know, you know, it's kind of pennies in some respects, but y'all can ponder that, and and, we'll, you know, try to decide something next time.
You know, my thoughts is that, we need to be looking at this maybe from a different perspective instead of, well, how much does this do here? We need to look at it, I think, from, well, what's our need? I mean, if we're looking at us as an organization, and how much does it cost us to put this product out? And, you know, if we're looking at it and saying, okay, we're, depending on which sheet I'm looking at, we've either lost 8,000 for year to date, or we've made 23. I'm not sure, but we're somewhere maybe in between. But either way, it's marginal, and that's with 50,000 plus sales tax revenue every month.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, and we've already addressed the idea that we've got a ton of heat and air units that we've still got to replace outside of what we've got. So if we are not creating enough money to be able to meet the expenses of this facility, as well as put some back in reserve, I mean, you start doing $1 here or $1.50 or something, it's not gonna get it. I mean, we're lying to ourselves. Because you gotta look at it, and I think we've gotta treat it like a business and say, what does it cost to put this product out? And if we can't charge a fee, and the problem is too, seems like every time we bring this up, it just gets kicked down the road. Cause I know I brought it up different times and said, we need to raise these rates to where we're not waiting 14 years to raise them, we're doing it every 3. Because if you look at it and say, well, darn, even 3 years ago, our payroll didn't cost us as much, our utilities didn't cost as much. All these things go up all the time, but we're too lax, and even when we're looking at it, we're not really addressing what the need is, not so much, well, okay, that will raise us, you know, $3,000 a month. Well, big deal if the need is, we've got to have a lot more than that. We got to look at it and have a goal in mind and say, here's what we're going to get to. Because, you know, all these other programs are great, but when we start going out and asking everybody to donate to this and this and this, you know, to kind of have funds to survive on, after a while, people are going to see old Mike coming and the door's going to get closed.
It dilutes.
But, I mean, ultimately, the people that are using that facility all the time, we're gonna have to figure out what it costs and just say, hey, everybody's gotta pay their fair share. That's my Sunday school sermon.
Okay, there you go, good job.
Well, and I think you're right. I mean, because really, you should look at the revenue and then look at your expenses, and it needs to be together.
And, you know, and I think if you're looking at it, you address that and say, what does it really take? How much additional do we need? And irregardless of what that percent increase is, if it's 15, it's gotta be 15. Well, we've gotta figure out what it takes to do it, because we can't just keep operating at a loss.
Right.
I mean, at some point, the city's gonna say, guys, you gotta figure something out here.
But eventually our reserve will run out.
It's almost spoken for already just on your heat and air.
Right.
Just maintenance on the building.
Yeah.
If you look at it over the next 5 years, you're gonna have a need for those. So we shouldn't even be looking and saying, well, our reserve will save us.
No.
That can't be. I mean, we really need to be looking at, could we try to create enough to where we could put a little bit into that reserve? Because we know this is coming. I'm done.
No, you make perfect sense. And, yeah. But, that'll be the next budget thing, you know, is looking at what, you know, as I've gotten into this more and more and thought about that, you know, so we'll have to look at our operation closely and see if there's any trimming maybe we can do that doesn't affect the overall thing. And, see what we can do. Yeah. Anything else for the good of the order?
Well, if we have nothing else, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay,
So moving second,
All right.
we're done.
see y'all tomorrow night. Yes, Walter, you got this party tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I do.
I'm trying to find an ugly sweater.
Okay. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow night.
Okay.
TJ.